Here with Dwight Powell, man. How are you, buddy?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. These times, man, it's tough times. How are you making out during this COVID-19? I know it's tough for everyone, but how are you hanging in there?
Doing what I can, staying positive. Obviously, keeping busy with this rehab, trying to make sure this Achilles comes back the right way and not rushing it. I don't have anything to rush back to right now, so just taking my time and focusing on that.
What are the challenges, for the rehab and all of those things, especially with Achilles injury? That's a tough injury. So the rehab, how is that going during these times as well? Like, what's the challenges with that?
It's actually going great. Everything's on schedule. Everything's progressing how it should. So thankfully, I'm able to do all the things I need to do. Like the COVID situation, the pandemic situation doesn't really affect this phase of the rehab. Right now, it's a bunch of calf raises and making sure I don't trip over anything. So, they said step one of rehab is have a clear path from the bed to the bathroom. That's kind of the most important thing. So the whole staying home situation, so social distancing in a lot of ways actually has helped the rehab. It's kept me out of harm's way, at least for the last couple months, more than normal. So thankfully there hasn't been any missteps yet.
Dallas is, to me, they've been a surprise team, surprise team this year. And of course, I have to ask you play with a lot of talent, with you fitting right into that piece of the puzzle. Luka Doncic, how is it playing with a talent, such a young guy with that much talent? How is it playing with that guy?
I mean, it's fun. I mean, I think it looks that way for you guys, and it's just as fun, if not more than it seems. I mean, he just has such a crazy feel for the game, and the whole Luka magic thing. It's real. He really gets out there and he has fun with the game, and he shares that fun with us just by moving the ball and seeing situations before they're happening. And he's a competitor too, which is great. I think we've had some rough years here in Dallas, and the city has been amazing in supporting us through them. And obviously the legacy that Dirk has left here is bigger than life. So I think these last couple of years have been really important in kind of passing of the torch and kind of the changing over of this franchise. So he's done an amazing job of stepping up into a leadership role at such a young age. And performing at obviously the level that he's performing is incredible. So it's been fun for sure.
You've had the privilege and to play with a Dirk Nowitzki and a young guy like this. What have that experience been like? How has that helped your game, and how have you matured? What have you taken from someone like a Dirk? I remember when Dirk had to come up in 1990, I think it was 1998 or whatever. He had his trials and tribulations, but what did you learn? What kind of relationship did you have? And what was it like for him to be a part of this organization or your organization?
Man, I could go on for hours about Dirty, man. He's been a huge part of my development on and off the court. I think I was very fortunate in my career to have some great vets, especially my rookie year. Obviously came over with Rondo, and he kind of showed me the ropes early on and how to be a pro and how to work. And we had Tyson Chandler here. We had obviously Dirty, Raymond Felton. We had guys that had been through the fire, and I was fortunate to kind of get a whole bunch of different perspectives. But Dirty's was very unique because he's a very unique is really the only way I can describe it. He's a very unique superstar in the way he carries himself and his work ethic and the way he interacts. So for my first year, I really just sat back and just watched him as much as I could. I would sit and watch his workouts, how he performed in the games, what he would do in practice, and the things that he would do to prepare himself for games in practice. And it was a massive motivation for me to realize that this guy, who's at the time was in his 16th, 15th year, whatever it was still grinding and like putting in like how I was thinking I was working hard, putting 50, 60 reps before a break on one shot, trying to just perfect one move and then go into another move, and 50, 60 reps at one move, and like breaking the game down to such small pieces. At that age, to me, I was like, all right, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing, because I need to find a way to tap into that, because at his age and the accolades he had already received, that level of dedication, that's what I learned was what greatness was. That's what I wanted to aspire to achieve. He really set the foundation and kind of built the archetype of what it means to be a Mav, and that is to be part of the community, not just take, but to give back. And he showed me that from day one, and I've tried my best to kind of emulate that.
And that's so huge when you have a player like that, that magnitude, but then they're a person of the people. And I saw the last game where Dirk was, praised pretty much. He was celebrated, but people get celebrated like that, in that manner, in that fashion, and people say great things because of the things you do off the court. What are some of the interests that you have as far as in the community, if there's any right now, or are you building to that platform, or what are you doing currently, or what interests do you have, from a community standpoint or a charitable standpoint?
I mean, right now, kind of all the efforts are obviously focused towards this pandemic and doing whatever we can to end this as soon as possible, and along the way to support the people that need it while these times are so different. So Luca, Mark, and myself, Mark Cuban, we put a fund together at UT Southwestern Hospital here in Dallas to help the families of the frontline workers, to make sure that their kids were taken care of, so that because a lot of them are picking up ridiculous amount of shifts that they're not used to working. And then on top of that, there's extra time that has to be put in to make sure that they're keeping their families safe, and as far as, going in and out of these situations. So we wanted to make sure that was something that was not overlooked. And then there's some, with the Dallas ISD, the independent school district here in Dallas, a lot of the kids rely on the school system for lunches, obviously education, and it's a safe place to be. So we've, through the Mavs, have put some funds and help support a program where they are continuing to provide lunches and meals for those kids who need them, check-ins with those kids to make sure if anything's needed that they're being taken care of, and also providing technology for some of these kids that may not have internet access or may not have computers or tablets or whatever it is, so they can maintain, stay on pace with their curriculum, and hopefully either graduate this year or make it to the next phase of whatever their development may be. Right now trying to support some small businesses as far as providing meals for some of the frontline workers here. I know a bunch of my teammates have been doing that as well. But yeah, outside of this situation, my main focus is on families affected by cancer. So I have my own fund at UT Southwestern here in Dallas, where it's we find families with either single income families or low income families, or families in need where a parent is undergoing cancer treatments or has recently passed of cancer. And the fund is designed to support the children of that family and to support that family in general. So whether that's helping with rent or keeping the lights on, or something as simple as making sure they have presents on Christmas, or making sure that they have a ride to school, or if the child has any sort of special needs situation, that's being continued even though that parent's not working while they go through treatments, and things of that nature.
Coming from Canada, being a Canadian, and like I said, the first time I met you, I saw you in action was with the national team. What's your plans? Are you excited about opportunity for the qualifications for, the Olympics, for the national team, or what's your status? How do you feel about going forward with that situation?
Yeah, so I'm in a somewhat unique situation just because I had to make a very difficult, one of the hardest decisions of my life last year to not play. Mm-hmm. To prepare myself and make sure that what I had going on physically was at 100% to start the season. Fortunately, I did start the season at 100%. But
you had to do this, buddy. You had to sign that thing, baby.
For sure, but then I got hurt this year. Right. So as much as I don't want to, obviously you want to look at the bright side and be positive, but I don't want to downplay the severity and the negative impact that this virus has had on the world. But for the Olympics to be pushed back a year, for me, athletically and physically, it's a massive opportunity. It's one of the silver linings, I guess, to put it lightly. The opportunity to be healthy for the qualifiers and hopefully the Olympics is something that's huge for me, and it's a major, massive motivating factor as far as my rehab right now is concerned, and going forward in the next year. So, definitely looking forward to it.
Man, I really, really, truly appreciate you taking the time to talk to me during this time. I've always been a fan. Once I met you, I think it was just going into your senior year at Stanford, but I've been a fan, still a fan, love watching you play, love your development, love how you're expanding your game and showing these guys what you got out here. So it's a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing for your community and for yourself and everything like that moving forward. Thank you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir.